and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
In the Army National Guard, soldiers serve part-time and close to home.
My community means everything to me. It helped shape me into who I am today, and is where I choose to raise my own family. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The education benefits I got from serving helped me get my degree and jumpstart my career. The training and leadership skills I've gained from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people, help my neighbors, and look out for my community. I know that when my neighbors need us the most, my fellow soldiers and I will be ready. My family loves it here, and my part-time service means we get to stay here.
Serve part-time in the community you live in as a proud member of the Army National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
We're off, we're running, we're doing everything this morning. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, 69 degrees.
Feels good.
Feels like a winter right now. Your high today is 82. Going to get plenty of sunshine today, plenty of sunshine tomorrow, 83 degrees. Your high tomorrow, so get on out there and enjoy it. Looking around, 66 in Auburn, 71 in Pensacola. Don't know why we're mentioning those, but it's worth it. Talent Heating and Air can make sure you stay nice and cool as the temperatures get up. 256-503-4490. Let their talents work for you. TalentHVAC.com. Service and repair when it's too hot or cold. You need expert service quickly. Give Talent Heating and Air a call. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy. Give them all a call. They'll take care of you. 256-576-4977. That's the number. You can join us this morning. Let's see other things. Let's hit that and that. Did you see this story about did you see this story with Kalen DeBoer jumping on a Seattle radio station yesterday?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I think I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, and it goes back to my whole thing about this whole anonymous people, but per NFL.com and Tom Pelissero, yeah, an AFC coordinator had claims that if Jalen Milroe had returned to Alabama for the 2025 college football season, that Alabama skill players would have transferred out and played elsewhere. According to this AFC coordinator, we heard out of Alabama, all the skill players would have transferred if he came back. He wants to be known as a pocket quarterback, and your best skill is you're freaking fast. Now, Kalen DeBoer was asked about said quote and said, I think I've heard the same quote. He goes, I think the word all is used, so whenever absolutes are used, I kind of question it right there, like the words never and always and all. I think that's a little far-fetched.
Well, you know what that means. That means several would have left. Not all, but several. And everything that was said about from that coordinator is 110% accurate, just like everything said about Peckerhead Shador, which is 110%. So you can try to deny, and cry racism and collusion, which is utter stupidity and just ignorance. And then you can also understand that it was time for Milroe to go.
Right. Did that have anything to do? Because Alabama did have several wide receivers go into the portal this offseason.
Well, most of those guys, I think one of the biggest things that Kalen DeBoer and his staff did, I think they were alarmed by the middle of the season at the quality of receivers they inherited. I mean, because Alabama's top two receivers last year, one was a true freshman that should have had 1,000 yards and would have if the quarterback could make proper reads. And then two was Jeremy Bernard, who transferred with the staff from Washington and who was the number 4 receiver with the other 3 that he played with going on to the NFL after the 2023 season. Now, Jalen Hill getting hurt certainly didn't help.
Right.
Cole Adams got hurt during the season as well and was in and out of the lineup. But I don't think they thought the Emmanuel Hendersons of the world, the Kendrick Laws, the Caleb Odoms, and Odom was playing out of position, should have been a tight end. I predict he'll end up being one, or he'll end up on an odyssey like Jalen overrated, a.k.a. Rashada, who's now at Sacramento State. My almighty have fallen. And who, according to sources close to the Georgia program, sucked. That was the exact word used. Sucked. And this is a guy that the Gators almost paid $13 million to. Scott, he's playing for Sacramento State in front of 2 dogs, a cat, and a hamster. Okay? Cam Scattaboo was there at one time and had to get the hell out so he could go to Arizona State and get drafted. But the dude's at Sacramento State. But all I'm telling you is that this stuff is accurate. Kalen DeBoer is being a good soldier here.
Right.
And he was using his words carefully. He said he didn't want to use all. Well, several would have, okay, in my opinion. But and then several moved on anyway. And most of those guys that you saw transfer out from Alabama that at the end of the season were not good fits for Kalen DeBoer's offense. That's why they were so aggressive in the portal to go get Isaiah Horton from Miami, who I think is going to make an impact and be a good player, and why they brought in some freshmen like Latsier Brooks, who's very explosive, who I think is going to help. And then I think, and then Derek Meadows, a kid they flipped late in the process from LSU. They just felt like they had to get better at the wide receiver spot, and that's why they were aggressive. They just felt that they didn't have enough proven and polished receivers. Matter of fact, according to a good source of mine, they felt like they had better receivers at Fresno State.
Really?
Than as far as more depth,
right.
Than they had when they got to Alabama. Because of course Jeremy Bernard's a baller, and we know that Ryan Williams is a freshman All-American. But they're talking about the depth of the position and polished depth. And
why did it get so down? Why the down?
Well, because first of all, Caleb Odom wasn't emotionally and physically and like mentally ready to play as a true freshman. And then, Jalen Hale got hurt. Cole Adams got hurt. They both would have been on the field more. And then I just think the Kendrick Laws of the world, he never transitioned. He's more of an athlete than a wide receiver, struggled with route concepts, struggled with drops. Same way, with E.J. Henderson, or Emmanuel Henderson, he was a guy that was a running back in high school that they tried to convert to wide receiver. And I thought he looked good at times, but I think he just made mental errors. And then another guy that I failed to mention, Kobe Prentice.
Yeah.
He struggled with drops as well, and he ended up going to Baylor. So they just didn't get the production out of that room overall that they felt like they had to get. And I think they wanted to overhaul it a little bit. And then a young kid like Rico Scott, he'll play more next year. He wasn't ready either coming out of high school. By the end of the season, he was more comfortable, and he played some, but still got that red shirt. And then remember, they moved Jalen Mbakwe from corner to wide receiver because I think he was more comfortable playing offense after a year playing corner. So, like I said, it's kind of like a transition you go through with that Alabama program. And I know people will say, well, Nick Saban recruited all these receivers. You got to also understand everything about the Alabama program changed. And I mean, everything except for David Ballou's fourth quarter program. And David Ballou and Kalen DeBoer had worked together in Indiana, so there was some familiarity there. But when you're talking about offense, defense, and special teams, everything was different. I mean, and so you're going to go through some growing pains and things of that nature. So that's what they did. They went through growing pains on both sides of the football, completely different systems. For example, Nick Saban's a defensive coach. All his coordinators, he got more aggressive and went more RPO based his last decade, but he still run the football, protect the ball, don't turn it over. Kalen DeBoer is like Steve Spurrier. He's very, very aggressive. He wants his quarterbacks to continue to be aggressive, throw the ball down the field. The biggest example, and it almost blew up in Alabama's face completely, is if you're watching the South Carolina game in Tuscaloosa last year, Alabama's up 13-0. Looks like they're going to go into the locker room, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, and they continue to try to be aggressive the last 2 minutes. And Milroe is the turnover machine that he was, throws an interception, turns the ball over, and Alabama, ends up giving up 16 points in about a minute and a half, and they're losing at halftime. So this is one of those things where it just imploded in their face because he wanted the quarterback to keep being aggressive, and it just didn't work. You know what I'm saying? When you have those turnovers and you give a team a spark like South Carolina, and it turned out that even though they lost the game, it kind of turned South Carolina's season around. Because, I mean, they also lost that heartbreaker to LSU did the Gamecocks. But if you go back and you watch the NFL draft, there was a lot of dudes on that South Carolina team. People just didn't kind of realize it. That now the next step for Carolina is going to be, can you respond and be good when people are now looking at you?
Right.
And they're expecting a lot out of you, because Carolina nearly made the playoff last year. And if they had beat Alabama or won that LSU game, after some dubious officiating.
Yeah, the pass interference call in the end. Yeah,
they're in. That call that call back the pick six. I mean,
Lenora Sellers is coming in with a lot of expectations this next season.
And Mike Shulez is offensive coordinator.
Ooh.
I wouldn't bet the house on.
I don't know about that one.
I sure as hell wouldn't. I mean, he was a favorite player of mine growing up, but saying he's a good offensive coordinator and a head football coach is like saying Jeff from the Borough will be on this show, and that ain't happening.
I just started thinking, I mean, okay, so if this was still, if the SEC still had the East and West, Florida would be obviously in the East. DJ Lagway would be back as a returning starting quarterback.
Right.
South Carolina would have Lenora Sellers back as a starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee would not have their starting quarterback back. Kentucky, I don't believe, has theirs back. Vanderbilt, for right now, Diego Pavia is back. He's
as 32 years old.
as their starting quarterback.
Right.
Missouri does not have a starting quarterback back that is proven right now. I mean, you're looking, as far as that side goes,
Georgia doesn't have a starter back.
Right. You're looking at,
he's at South Beach.
You're looking at, he's making some coin.
Yeah, and
he broke up with his girlfriend, by the way, too. So he doesn't
a tool bag.
But you're looking at that side. If we still had the SEC West and East, you're looking at Florida and South Carolina with the two programs that have their returning starting quarterbacks back.
Yeah. There's a lot of new QBs. There's no doubt about it, and that's what makes it interesting.
I mean, Texas, and if now Texas will have a new one back. Mm-hmm. Texas A&M will have theirs, I believe, back.
Well, and they will, and we just had someone text in and make a good point that part of probably the struggles too of the wide receiver room at Alabama was 5 years of Holman Wiggins, who is now at Texas A&M, and to no one's shock, A&M's entire wide receiver core transferred out, and they had to go to the portal to rebuild it. So, Holman did a decent to solid job at Alabama, but let's just put it this way. It's about time for him to go, about like it is Freddie Roach, but unfortunately Roach is still employed.
Well, Kalen DeBoer likes him.
Yeah, I guess.
He keeps him there.
Yeah, he was. You know, the funny thing is Jason Taylor, who we talked about some yesterday, and he was on the staff at Mario Cristobal at Miami, and Freddie Roach were at Muscle Shoals High School yesterday recruiting. Alabama has a young man at Muscle Shoals committed. I'm sure Miami's trying to flip him. And I did ask if Alabama could trade.
You just do not like Freddie Roach.
Well, I mean, yeah. Miami can have Roach, and then Alabama can have Jason Taylor, and we're all happy.
You would be happy with Jason Taylor.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame player. I'd tolerate it. I do wish I could go back in time and Alabama had signed his son, but
look, okay.
The Jets.
So Freddie Roach obviously
is not very good.
Dropped the ball in getting the little lad from that went to Clemson, right?
Peter Woods, yeah.
Yes.
Well, see, you know how much I love mock drafts,
right?
There's already 1,000 coming out for next year.
Oh, I know.
And
I know.
Half these kids hadn't even declared for said draft. Like I saw one of them. Number 1 overall pick, Caden Proctor.
Yes, Caden. Yes, I saw that yesterday.
You saw that one too.
I saw that Caden Proctor was the number 1 overall pick projected for next year. Yes.
I was like, wow. That would be amazing. I will say this. I did tell somebody, well, if that happens, Alabama's in the damn playoff. I can guarantee you that. If he's the number 1 overall pick.
Well, does Caden Proctor play in the playoffs? I mean, that's the question. Does he want a little bit more money to play in the playoffs?
I would think he plays. Okay, I think Alabama's hopefully moved past that. But here's the thing though with Caden Proctor too. He's got to, I think, get his weight a little bit more under control, and he's got to stay healthy. But he did show a lot of toughness last year. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, he tore his labrum in the first game,
right, and
then shot it up and strapped up and played the rest of the year. So I think he matured, showed a lot of toughness. But also in some of those mock drafts too, I saw Tamarian Parker as a top 10 pick. Peter Woods and Tamarian Parker played at Central Phoenix City High School in the state of Alabama, Scott, and was passed over by one Freddie Roach. And we all know the Peter Woods situation. I'm not going to rehash that. I've bitched about it for I don't know, 3 years. How that he should have been fired immediately for botching it, and then And then Auburn, Keldrick Falk. I mean, he was a top 20 pick. He's a heck of a player, and Freddie Roach and Nick Saban passed on him as well. You have those 3 guys in crimson, or those 3 guys in orange and blue, and you got one of the best defensive lines in the country if you're either Alabama or Auburn. But instead, two of them are at Clemson, and Auburn did get Keldrick Falk, and he's their best defensive player.
You know what? We got to get a break in. That's how we get you started this morning. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. We're back after this short message.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a new wreck at Big Cove and Bassett. That one's coming in as a no injury. Had problems on the Hudson Memorial Bridge southbound in Decatur. That one was a no injury. It's gone to a parking lot. And 6th and Wilson may still be causing some problems there, especially for northbound traffic. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000. That's 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Attention, attention. May I have the camp's attention?
Your home of the college football playoffs.
Playoffs?
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Playoffs?
Ooga, 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 shaka, ooga, 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 shaka, ooga, 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 shaka, ooga, ooga, I can't stop this feeling. Ooga, 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 shaka,
That wasn't the whole intent of the show. Was for you to get on your Freddie Roach train.
Well, that's just what happened.
It is. That's where we went. But what did I told you this during the break, and it made you happy?
Yeah.
Was the fact that Lawrence Taylor said, nope. You cannot wear the 56 to Abdul Carter. Will not give him permission to wear it in the NFL. Says you need to go create your own legacy.
There you go, LT. Create your own legacy. And Warren Moon should have told Cam Ward the same dadgum thing with the Titans. But I will say this. There is the one caveat. There is the one caveat. I will, in this Warren Moon, Cam Ward thing. Warren Moon did it for the Houston Oilers, okay? He didn't do it for the Tennessee Titans. It's different now.
Yes.
Because they did move.
Because Warren Moon said, I don't think they're ever going to wear those uniforms again.
The Houston Oilers.
Yes, because I don't think they're ever going to wear it.
Retro stuff every now and then. But to be honest with you, they shouldn't.
It's two different kind of situations. This one here, Taylor said, I know he would love to wear that number, but hey, I think it's retired. Yeah. Get another number. And I don't care if it's 00 and then make it famous. He says there's no ill intent to it.
Right.
He said, but go make your own legacy.
Well, and see, and John and Joe listening to the Blitz, they're the kind of the uniform experts here, but correct me if I'm wrong, esteemed producer, John. I don't think the Titans have really ever changed their uniforms, not much. They got little alternate jerseys and stuff.
Like, they're wearing new ones this year.
Like the logo, but the logo's been the same.
Yes.
Like for the most of their uniforms have pretty much stayed pretty consistent, though.
Yeah, they've only had two different types of uniforms as the Tennessee Titans, and they had the original uniform switched to the Nike, but then that's when they transitioned to the swords on the side, and they had the new alternate logo. But other than that, been basically the same the whole time.
I can give a little bit of a pass there.
Right. He played for the Oilers, did Warren Moon. Everything he did was in Houston. Mm-hmm. The franchise moves, it makes that stop in Memphis, and then it comes to Nashville.
The Memphis Oilers.
Yeah, the Memphis, that was bad.
A little bit weird in front of 5 people.
That's why Memphis has a lot of disdain towards Nashville, because they spent that year there.
Well, I mean, remember, they did have a USFL team back in the day, the Showboats, if I remember correctly. They had Reggie White, where he rest in peace, the Minister of Defense. So,
yes, but I thought that would make you happy.
Right.
That Lawrence Taylor says, nope, not going to wear it, not going to do it.
Right. So I'm happy to see that. Well, there was only 156 for the New York Football Giants. I'm sorry. Whether they use the NY logo or the Giants logo spelled out, it was Lawrence Taylor, and it shouldn't be Abdul Carter. Find your own dang number. You know what I'm saying? So got a chance to be a really good player, but you hadn't done anything. Just like, I mean, they drafted the homeboy out of Oregon a few years ago. What's he done?
Oh, speaking of drafts, we did not mention this guy's name yesterday, but Jamil Muhammad signed a free agent deal with the Rams.
Nice. Our good friend Jamil, we had him on when he went into the transfer portal. He had a pretty good run there at USC.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he wasn't allergic to tackling. Most of them were. But Jamil getting a chance to play for the Los Angeles Rams, staying in town and playing for Sean McVay. Go make the team, Jamil Muhammad. Good dude. We know his dad as well. Good guy. And we wish him all the luck in the world as he tries to make that transition to the NFL, because he had a really good college career, man.
He did.
Once he made that move from quarterback to linebacker, and totally bought in defensively. He was an impact guy, and certainly hope he can make it. There's been a lot of guys have, including John mentioned him the other day because we were talking about the Super Bowl and all the local angles, that Nick Morrow, who's had a nice NFL career, and he was an undrafted free agent, and he had played at Huntsville High. So just get you opportunity. It's pretty much just and take advantage of it. Get on the squad and make your mark.
All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can join us on a Tuesday morning. Gosh, it's only Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
I know. Feels like a Wednesday or a Thursday or something like that, but this is only Tuesday.
It was staying alive day for Hartselle last night.
Oh, a lot of high school, not a lot. There was some high school baseball on the diamond last night, and it was one of those nights where the weather was absolutely perfect. In Class 6A, Hartselle traveling to Homewood. Hartselle does get the win. They are on to the next round as they got by them. And Buckhorn, though, falls to Mountain Brook in that one. Tough one, 11-1.
Yeah,
your final there.
That's a tough one when you have to go to game 3 and you're on the road at Mountain Brook. A good year for the Bucks.
Russellville gets dropped by American Christian last night.
Yeah, that's
9-7.
9-7, yeah.
Net 3. Vinemont gets by Phil Campbell. Red Bay gets by Decatur Heritage last night, 5-1. Your game 3 final there. Hackleburg does knock off Appalachian yesterday.
And I think that was 1 versus 2. Two beat 1. Appalachian number 2.
Right.
And they won, correct?
Hackleburg won.
Oh, excuse me. Number 2 Hackleburg. Sorry, folks out there.
Hackleburg got the
I
win.
believe
Yes.
number 2 Hackleburg beat number 1 Appalachian. So pardon me on that.
Real fast. Girls soccer winners last night. Mars Hill Bible, St. John Paul II, and Athens, and James Clemens.
There you go.
They were all winners.
Bob Jones beat Huntsville's boys 1-0 too.
And then on the boys' side, Collinsville's a winner. Mars Hill Bible, West Morgan, and then Bob Jones 1-0 over Huntsville.
Crazy little overhead. I don't know, half kick pass, something.
Yeah.
Mark Russell had that.
James Clemens and Huntsville. James Clemens got by the Huntsville girls, and Bob Jones got by the Huntsville boys last night. I believe they were both at Huntsville. But anyway, that's what we had last night on the high school side. Playoffs for soccer, playoffs for baseball. Let's go to Brandon real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
What's up, man?
Well, went to the start of the sub-regional for softball for the Garden yesterday, and they need to put a rule in when you're playing some of these teams that are in a regional because they're only there because you're in your region, that you can only score so many runs in one inning.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was real bad. I think if Garden hadn't bunted on purpose, there might have been 20 runs in the first inning.
Wow.
It was tough to watch, and they were starting a lot of the younger girls. Got to see a new pitcher out there yesterday, and she had a lot of form. And they're supposed to, if necessary, play 3 games today: 3:30, 6:15, and 8 o'clock if necessary to round that one out.
Gotcha.
So looking forward to moving on with softball, and going to be a wild ride between now and next week at Choccolocco. Well, I guess 2 weeks to Choccolocco Park, correct?
Yeah. Yes. And Choccolocco will be very busy with softball and baseball. But the entire state tournament for softball and, of course, the finals for baseball.
I tell you, that was, we give the High School Athletic Association a hard time. And
that was a good move.
So.
That was a good move.
Yeah, rightfully so, because they do some bonehead things.
Yes.
that was probably their best move, getting it out of Lagoon Park and Montgomery for baseball. Because remember, baseball was at Patterson. They played game 1 at Patterson and then turn around and play games 2 and 3 at Riverwalk. Not bad. Softball was at Lagoon Park, but you had the plastic fences in the outfield, and it was just not a great, not a great setup. It was okay, but not great. Chakalaka Park is phenomenal for softball and baseball.
It is, and then they also use Rudy Abbott Stadium for Jacksonville State as well.
Well, and they're doing a lot of building over there on the other side of Chakalaka. You've got some hotels going up. They got some restaurants going in. It's supposed to be over there. I mean, I think to an extent, and Drew knows what I'm talking about when I say Lake Point, it could be Lake Pointish if they continue to develop it. It could really be a jewel for the east side of Alabama there.
Nice.
And then they do a whole lot of stuff in the winter as well. This whole situation with Ulbricht's kid calling Shadur Sanders.
Yeah.
We talked about this yesterday with on the Blitz. I just wonder what this kid was thinking when they video recorded this.
He wasn't.
Like nobody was going to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, Molten was saying, we had Star 69. You don't even need that when you got somebody live on video posting it all over the internet. I don't know if his dad went home and took a 2x4 to his backside or what he did, but we probably won't ever see or hear from this kid again. He'll probably be on witness protection for here on out.
Well, and don't forget, there was more than one.
There was a bunch of them. Kyle McCord now says he was prank called.
I don't know if it was all the same people.
No, I think the same kid did a couple of them because I think he got a couple numbers out of his dad's iPad. But I mean, I don't know.
It's unfortunate that this kind of stupid stuff happens, man.
Anybody got Freddie Roach's number?
Somebody's listening does, but I'm not going to go there.
Now, I wanted to ask you guys about this commission they created. I was reading that they have assembled a commission to go after 6 to 7 schools in Alabama, primarily for all the transfers that come in and out. And I was told Coosa Christian was on that list.
Oh, they've already been racked a couple times.
Yeah. But basically what it is there's some 6A coaches that are upset because of on the football side, they're upset because of all these transfers going on. They proposed a deal with the state. They've asked the state to create this commission to look into all of these illegal transfers that are going on in hopes of trying to stop it.
Are they going to have subpoena power?
Who knows? I don't know what I mean. I think what it is there's a few coaches that are tired of it going on, and I don't know. They're just trying to put an end to it, I guess.
Yeah, I know. One of the schools that I'm sure is going to be under the microscope, they won it a couple years ago, and we know the coach pretty good.
Well, when I saw that headline, it says they primarily impaneled it to go after 6 schools.
Yeah.
They weren't even trying to hide who they were going after, and I thought, wow.
Yeah.
And I saw some of the parents from Coosa Christian yesterday, and they were not impressed. They were at the softball tournament.
Well, Coosa Christian, by the way, I think Coosa Christian's a private school.
They are.
So, I mean, they have certain liberties that they can take. So
they've been taking them.
Yeah.
It's never a bad thing to spread the money around.
Look, man,
NIL,
even
right?
if you hire Rush Pros for 2 weeks, you've been doing something, bro. And they hired Rush as associate head coach for 2 or 3 months, I guess, before he went to Pell City, and we all say how that ended.
Yeah.
Well, at least they didn't headbutt anybody with a helmet on.
Oh,
no.
Roll Tide.
Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, I saw that last week or whatever. I think Bart Sessions is trying to lead the way with that commission or whatever. Yeah. That's what I saw. I think I got that right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He does be cheating.
Lord.
Oh, it still makes me bring up I still think of the show Cheaters. I still think of the show Cheaters.
Crazy show.
I still think of the show Cheaters. John, did you ever watch an episode of Cheaters?
Joe wasn't alive.
I did
for
not.
most
No,
of
I
that.
You got to watch it. You just go YouTube and watch an episode of Cheaters.
And if he was like 3.
It's worth the watch. I mean, it was some bad reality TV.
Oh my God.
Bad reality.
That's some of the first of those infrared headlights I've ever seen, or whatever the hell they're using.
Old Joey Greco.
Yes, but the show would get a lady or a man or whatever who felt like their boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or whatever was cheating on them.
Right.
And then they would find them at a bar and they would confront them while they were cheating. Yes. And then you can imagine all heck would break loose. Yeah, that was Cheaters. It was great. Got to get a break in. We got Major League Baseball, SEC baseball, and the ACC is trying to do something to its basketball league to make it relevant again. We'll let you know what they're trying to do.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Relatively warm as we head into the overnight and into the early part of your Wednesday morning. Temperatures only dropping into the low and mid-60s. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky as we head into your Wednesday afternoon. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. But to be quite honest, that activity is going to be somewhat difficult to come by. Most of us are going to stay dry. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-80s. A couple of degrees above where we should be this time of year as we get ready to close out the month of April. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck at Big Cove and Bassett. That one reported as a no injury. We got one in Decatur at 6th and Vine now. We had one at 6th and Wilson. They're showing this one 6th and Vine, but it is showing as a no injury. You could lose up to 4 sizes in 4 weeks with the 2030 Fast Track program. Find out more at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. At Newmarket, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 2190 County Road 65 very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove and soon in Newmarket. Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at dan That is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
It all comes back to money.
Visit our store right now at zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net to take advantage of all the best deals in the Tennessee Valley. Or just go to our website, 977espn.com, and click on the Zone Deals logo to start saving right now.
Now, as to the price.
These deals won't last long, so get yours now. Zone Deals. You'll thank us later.
A man who could easily afford to buy a vowel.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want money.
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Kind of funny that I guess that's apropos. That played right before we come back from break.
What, Western Union and Venmo?
Yeah, because we were talking during the break about this whole committee thing that's task force that the Alabama High School Athletic Association is going to launch.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny.
Right.
Because, so here's the deal, and here's the reason why. They say that there were 6 schools that accounted for 100 football transfers in 2024, which made up nearly 40% of the transfers statewide.
Right.
So the central board approved a task force to be assembled, and it's going to consist of principals, superintendents, athletic directors, and coaches to examine the problems and look for solutions.
Red flag, red flag, red flag.
They're going to examine the problems and look for solutions. We can tell you the problems, and we can probably tell you the solutions, and you don't have to buy us lunch.
They'll probably eat a few.
Oh, my goodness. Athletic Executive Director Heath Harmon says, and I quote, "As I travel across the state to district meetings, it is clear that the issue of non-compliant transfers of student athletes are one of our association's biggest concerns."
You think?
He goes, "I am proud of the central board that they're setting up a task force. It's not just an issue in our state. Is it an issue across the nation?"
You think?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Sometimes they write this themselves. Oh, anyway, real fast. The ACC wants to be relevant again in basketball.
Lord.
So they're going to reduce the amount of conference games that they play.
So they just suck a little less?
So the commissioner, Jim Phillips, they're in active discussions to move from 20 conference games to 18, starting in 25 and 26, so that their conference members can play stronger non-conference games. I kid you not.
What, ACC Big Ten Challenge? Hell, I don't know.
Because
ACC Big East Challenge.
The ACC is in the midst of one of its worst stretches in the history. They have 4 teams in the NCAA tournament this past March, the lowest percentage in its history.
Left after the first weekend?
1.
Yeah.
And it ranked last among the 5 high major conferences in the Ken Palm ratings in 24-25.
Yeah.
So they're going to take away 2 conference games so that they can play tougher non-conference games.
Because Western Union beat Clemson.
Let's go to Jason on the phone lines. Good morning, Jason.
Morning. Hey, y'all talking about the task force?
Right.
One of the task force members is the head coach at Mountain Brook. Do you think they've ever done any shady stuff by bringing in transfer players, especially the basketball program?
Yeah, this was brought by Alma Bryant head coach Bart Sessions and Chris Yeager of Mountain Brook. Those were the two that proposed this task force.
It sounds like just from Scott's report there that he was reading about, that they put it together, that their main focus on this task force is football, that they're missed about, instead of looking at the athletics in its entirety. It sounds like
I have a feeling they're looking at Mark Hudspeth at Gulf Shores.
You went there.
Yeah. Well, why not? I mean, he was
the headlines.
He's been in the headlines. This is not something new. I mean, if you
Ronnie
go back,
Royal, he was going to Alexandria and was putting up big time numbers. He always wanted to go be a Gulf Shores Dolphin.
Yes.
When they've had such a great history of football over there.
What's the coach at Thompson? He's never done anything like that.
I mean, you know.
Look, there's a lot of teams out there that people are going to say, well, I mean, you're going to look at the Thompsons, the Gulf Shores. You're going to look at some other ones, and you're going to say, hey, let's look at them because I have a feeling. So, but the state says they do their work, and we've not seen. I mean, we saw Gulf Shores 2 years ago
win the 5A,
and there was a lot of stuff coming out about some apartments and that
there
stuff.
was an investigation.
But I don't think nothing happened with the investigation. So
it was it was reported in the out there in Mobile via the media that they were being investigated, that there was a situation going on with some transfers and some live in some where they were living and things of that nature, how they got there, but nothing happened.
Right. It just made for one awkward handshake
right
between Alvin Briggs and Mark Hudspeth when they won the state championship.
Now last year they had a losing record though.
Yes.
Yeah, because once some of the mercenaries were gone and some of the what do you have, like 5 college coaches on his coaching staff?
Still does, I think.
Yeah, he still got several, but last year the Dolphins had a losing record, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and what I understand, the coach at Mountain Brook, he's mad at Parker for winning the championship.
I got you. Yeah, because the Thundering Herd, all of a sudden they started having 5 stars come in and show up from everywhere, including one moved all the way across the state from Prattville, I was told.
Right. That's where the Mountain Brook coach decided he was buddy because he was tired of Park.
Prattville Lions always want to play for the Parker Thundering Herd.
Right. Yeah, they stepped up a little bit, so he's ready to get rid of that. I mean, he's done it for years.
Yeah, I mean, and the last 2 to 3, 4 years, we've seen a steady improvement from Parker, but they had a ton of Division I prospects. They were a loaded roster last year, so that's going to attract attention, no doubt about that.
Right. I mean, I can understand why people want to transfer and play for Parker when they're playing in front of college scouts.
Right.
About every ball game.
Well, and even
your program needs to too.
Even Naheem Offord, who was the best prospect in the state, he ended up taking a big bag of money from Oregon after he, flirted heavily with Auburn. He committed to Ohio State. Some people thought the number 1 corner in America. I think the number 1 corner in America is at Alabama, and his name's Dejon Lee, but that's just my opinion. But Naheem Offord is supposedly a great player, but I don't think he was originally from Birmingham either. I think he moved in from Mississippi.
I think you're right.
So, sometimes when it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
It got duck road all over it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm trying to see Brian Van Gorder. I'm trying to see if he is still with.
I thought he left, but I wasn't
I thought
sure.
he did.
Yeah.
I thought he
Paul
left.
Rhodes was there at one time.
22. Yeah. I don't know. They still list I was looking through it. They still list him on there, but Paul Rhodes is there. Kenny Edenfield was there.
Coach, offensive coordinator, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, Paul Rhodes was the head coach at Iowa State at one point.
He was DC at Auburn at one time.
Yeah. And now they're on the staff at Gulf Shores High School.
So they won the state championship 2 years ago. Last year they had a losing record.
Vic Koenig.
Vic Koenig, yeah.
Yeah, they list him as a member of that staff at one point.
He used to be the head coach at Wyoming.
They all just wanted to be.
Well, that's what happens when you become your own school system. Gulf Shores, they separated themselves and they started putting a lot of money into athletics, and there you go. That's how they got Hudspeth. And after he left,
I think Orange. Then Orange Beach did the same thing. Now Orange Beach
they're finishing their facilities. Our good friend Chris Latch is.
Yes, I was going to say that's a different one. Chris Latch is a good. He's one of the good ones.
Well, Wade Waldrop, great friend of the show. And
yes,
he's going to turn that program around. Orange Beach and their softball program is just a machine. I'm just talking about the ladies over there at Orange Beach, man. Peter
Burns just commented on the fact that, we were talking about the ACC, SEC.
Yeah.
Peter Burns says the ACC trying to reduce the amount of conference basketball games so it can build up its strength of schedule. I'd advise them not to schedule SEC teams. The SEC went 31-4 against ACC this year.
Good point by Peter there.
Got to get a break in. Hour one, we'll wrap it up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of wrecks showing now. We got one in Decatur at 6th and Vine, and we got one on Big Cove at Bassett. Both of those reported as no injury. No hoses, no mask. Dr. Sandman has the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. You can reach Dr. Sandlin at 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tom Abraham back from my friend Ross Roberts at Valley Equipment Rental. It's springtime, so let's get that garden tilled with a tiller from Valley Equipment. And while you're at it, snag a power washer for the house and the driveway. And if you're putting in a sprinkler system, they have the small trencher that you need. And you can even rent a Skag zero-turn mower and much more to get your property in shape. Valley Equipment, not just for the contractor, but the homeowner as well. 2 locations on the North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryrentals.com
to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
I got the taste of love and a simple way. And you need to know I like to stand it. You just wait.
There's a lot of people still standing. You look around, you're like, how are you still standing? Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
Hey, just a quick update real fast on the Baron Phylon.
Okay.
He joined the, I guess you could call the shoes show. I don't know where it's at. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But he was asked about coming back to Alabama. He was asked about his future, and he says right now he is still 100% draft. He says, but things can change. You never know. He says, I love Bama, the whole program, the school, the state. It was all love when I was playing there. I never received any hatred or nothing like that. Walking around school and just being a regular kid again was mostly the fun part for me. I'll never take that for granted, but I'm all in on the draft right now because I feel like I want to be a pro. You never know what can happen. We'll just have to wait and see. He goes on to say, I would say, yeah, kind of. But I still said I'm 100% on the draft right now.
Right.
So
now.
there you go. Yes.
Yes. That's interesting phrasing because I don't think Nate Oates and the coaching staff are giving up on LeBaron Phylon. Now, they did lose Cedric Coward yesterday.
Right.
He will be a Blue Devil once he ends the draft process, and I think he will because I don't think he'll be a first rounder. And we all know Duke has very deep NIL pockets. I'm not sure they have pockets as deep as Jeff from the Borough. And remember, Kentucky doesn't cheat.
Kentucky has never cheated a day in their life.
In basketball.
Ever.
Only 7 days a week.
They don't cheat on Sunday because that's the Lord's Day.
Okay.
Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They're open.
There's another well-known coach I could say something about on Sundays, but I won't.
We got to get our hour break in. Talking Ball continues next. John Frary.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Braves over the Rockies 6-3 yesterday at Coors Field in Denver. The Rockies have dropped 7 straight and 15 of 16. They have the worst record of the major leagues at 4-24. Braves today $1.98 favorite. Rockies plus 164, 11 under the total at Coors Field in Denver. Kyle Larson and William Byron, the 6-1 co-favorites, win the NASCAR Cup Series race this week at Texas. They're both 6-1. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, both plus 750. Ryan Blaney 8-1. Journalism, the 3-1 favorite, win the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs on Saturday. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They're dedicated to providing that care that'll improve your lives. Give them a call, 256-881-5151 to experience that SportsMed difference, sportsmedalabama.com. Find them online. They'll take care of you. They're the official medical providers for the UAH Chargers and the Rocket City Trash Pandas, both of which have homes right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Speaking of homes, I know there are several new players that are calling Jacksonville home now.
Yes.
So the Jaguars had a good draft. And I know a lot of Florida fans are breathing easy because there was a video that surfaced yesterday, I believe, that saw DJ Lagway throwing the football.
Yeah.
So they're breathing maybe a little
I think
easier
he's gonna
in
be
Gainesville.
healthy by the start of the season. They got to have him. But our next guest, it's been one heck of a 2025 for him. First, Donald Trump was reelected. Second, the Florida Gators completed one of the greatest college basketball seasons we've ever seen, and they won their third national championship. The Gators have, of course, completely turned their football program and flipped the script on what looked to be just a grim season to start last year, but the ending was unbelievable by January. The recruiting completely flipped. And now the Jacksonville Jaguars make maybe the gutsiest move of the NFL draft. So I thought it was a good time to catch up with our good friend in St. Augustine, and that is John Frary. And, of course, he's with WFOY 102.1 FM, 1240 AM in the St. Augustine area. He's, of course, host of Sports Now, his daily show from 4 to 6 Eastern, 3 to 5 Central every Tuesday, and then 4 to 5 Eastern, which is 3 to 4 Central every Wednesday through Friday. And that is on also. You can also catch it on 1021news.com. John Frary, it's been a good 2025.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
It's been a great 2025, Drew and Scott, and doing great. And the Jacksonville Jaguars just made it even better with the Travis Hunter move on Thursday night, which this clearly wasn't the same old Jags guy from the former regimes, that's for sure, because they did a couple of things. They traded up, which they never do.
Right.
We talked about that for years in this market. Not only did they trade up, but they got the marquee prize of the entire draft with Travis Hunter, at least according to most of the pundits. So it was a great draft just on that alone. But I thought they added some more key pieces. Speedy running back and Tootin from Virginia Tech. I think they got a lineman from West Virginia, Wyatt Milam, that I think is going to contribute, possibly start at guard. And so I like what they did. They had to give up next year's first-round pick, this year's second-round pick, but to get Travis Hunter, you're not going to get that for free. So I applaud what James Gladstone did. And as he is, the catchphrase here now is intangibly rich, because that's what James Gladstone has used since he got here.
Yeah. Which,
and
by
I
the
know
way,
Jaguar Nation feels that way.
James Gladstone looks like he's 20. Looks like he can.
He's 34.
He looks like when he goes into the bar, he's going to get ID'd, because he does not look like he's old enough.
When I was getting my driver's license, he was coming out of the womb, bro.
Yeah, he looks young, but is you mentioned the old regime. You mentioned the old regime at Jacksonville and the fresh air. Is this exactly what, I mean, he helped get obviously Travis Hunter, and that's a name, best player in the draft, we believe. But is this what Jacksonville needed to kind of hopefully ignite this? Because we thought it was going to get ignited when they drafted Trevor Lawrence. We thought maybe that would be the case.
And they had a glimpse of it.
But is this what they need to get them over the top?
I think so, because you're adding Travis Hunter with Brian Thomas Jr.,
who was in the Pro Bowl last year, or the Pro Bowl games, whatever you want to call that, but still he made it. And to have those two guys as your main targets, I think it's now or never for Trevor. And the other thing that was abundantly clear out of this draft, guys, this regime went all in to give Trevor what he needs. It's either going to be Trevor's going to sink or swim now, because this is year 5 for Trevor Lawrence. It's hard to believe. He'll be 26 years old in October. It's time to start doing it. I mean, there have been reasons why it hasn't worked. I get it. It's not all been on Trevor, but a lot of it has been on Trevor. His play has got to be better. And with bringing in 4 offensive linemen in free agency, getting a couple of more in the draft, adding Travis Hunter, the biggest prize of the draft, bringing in Bashul Tootin from Virginia Tech, I think this is the time. He's got to raise his game. So this is going to be a critical year for Trevor Lawrence. And I thought Shad Khan said it all, too, when questioned about what the Jags gave up. He said, well, look, we've been stockpiling draft picks around here forever. That hasn't worked. We're not going to keep doing what we've been doing, and let's try to go get some premium talent like Travis Hunter and see if that works. And that's why I applaud what the Jags did last week.
And he's basically home because he's just over the state line over there in Georgia, and will be coming to Jacksonville to play. He seemed genuinely super excited about it. What's been the reaction of the fan base? I would think that after they were super aggressive, I mean, it's not every day, and I think that's basically what the Jags brass said, that you get the number one wide receiver and the number one corner. He needs the same guy in the draft.
The fan base, it was like Mardi Gras, your birthday, and New Year's Eve all in one, Drew, to answer that question last Thursday night, because until they actually did it, I know yours truly didn't believe it was going to happen, and I don't think anybody in this fan base thought it was going to happen, because going into the draft for months, it was projected that Mason Graham would be the pick to the Jags. That was mocked by almost everybody nationwide.
Right.
And while I think Mason Graham's going to be a good player, that would have generated absolutely zero buzz. Trading up to get Travis Hunter, who is the Heisman Trophy winner, the unicorn, plays both ways. We know all the adjectives with that young man. That just sent everybody over the top on Thursday night. And I'll be honest, I went to his introductory press conference last Friday afternoon. What I took away from it, the only concern I had with getting him was we got burned with Jalen Ramsey in Jacksonville and Duval years ago with the attitude, not the play on the field. This young man came off, to me at least, level-headed, kind of low-key, believe it or not, even though he's got the flamboyance, he's got the charisma, but I just liked what I saw. And being from Florida, which I kind of forgot about, Drew, because years ago he committed to Florida State, for those that forgot. I know FSU fans want to forget before going with Dion, but he likes fishing, which I think is important, and I think he likes to be more low-keyed in a way off the field, not on the field. And I think in a smaller market, that's important, guys, because, again, a lot of these guys want New York City, want Chicago, want Miami, and Jacksonville's not that. I can say that for sure, but I like what they got in Travis Hunter, not only on the field, but I like his personality so far. We haven't been around him that much, but I like the introductory press conference last Friday.
It all looks good. It all sounds good. But are we forgetting that Liam Cohen is a rookie head coach? And that's a lot to put in trust with a guy that I've never been a head coach on the NFL level.
That is going to be something to be a little leery about. You're right, Scott. However, again, what Jacksonville was doing wasn't working, meaning they brought in Urban Meyer and Doug Peterson, who had been head coaches.
I was going to say, this cannot be as bad as Urban Meyer.
Yeah, nobody can be. And I did like Doug Peterson, by the way.
Yeah, Doug had some good years, and he's won a Super Bowl. Herb, not so much.
I think the trend is to go young, not only in Jacksonville, but in the NFL with these coaches, young, new, innovative offensive minds. And Cohen did wonders for Baker Mayfield down in Tampa as their offensive coordinator last year. He got their running game going.
He got Will Levis drafted.
Yep. And that's the hope that he can improve Trevor Lawrence, because I think one of the main reasons he was brought in here, guys, was to help Trevor. There's no doubt about it. And I think that's going to be his main priority. You know, Travis Hunter aside and all these other picks they got, this franchise is going to sink or swim with Trevor. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, you've got to have a quarterback and a franchise quarterback in the NFL. And so they've given him all the tools. Like I said before, it's time for Trevor to show it. So, and that's why Liam Cohen's here, James Gladstone, and everybody else. So we'll see if with what the Jags provided last week and through the free agency, if Trevor can raise his game. It's a big year.
It really is. And then we also were excited about your second draft pick. And how many of the rookies did you get a chance to hear from? I know you said you got a chance to hear from Travis Hunter. Did you get a chance to see and meet any of the other guys?
I did get a chance to see Wyatt Milam. I didn't get a chance to see the day 3 guys.
Yeah, I didn't know, because see, with the 3rd round pick, Scott and I talked about this because he's going to be a prominent thing for us.
Yes.
Caleb Ransaw, who went to Sparkman here, just short drive from us, John. He was a 4-year guy, Sparkman Senator. He was a Troy Trojan. Then he followed John Summerall to Tulane, and the Jags took him in the 3rd round as a corner. So I just wondered if you'd had a chance to maybe even hear from the Jags about him.
Well, what the Jags are saying, I didn't get a chance to see him personally, Drew, over this past weekend, but they're going to play him at safety from what I'm hearing here. They are very concerned about the safety room, what they inherited from the previous regime. So I know he was a corner, but I think he's going to get some safety play, and I would not be shocked if he's a starter, by the way, guys. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time out there, if not start in the opening regular season game. So he's definitely one that they brought up, James Gladstone specifically, the general manager, and the enthusiasm they had. He was obviously high on their board. He was the 2nd player they took overall in this draft because they didn't have a 2nd round pick. So I would expect him to play a lot. I think he's actually going to be a starter when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
John Frary, kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, talking a little Jacksonville, little Florida Gators, football, and everything in between. And John, we were talking about it right before we came to you, that Florida fans are a little happy, feeling a little bit more relieved. Video of DJ Lagway throwing the football the other day probably made a few Gator fans happy.
It made all of Gator Nation happy. I can tell you that, Scott. There was a lot of angst, especially on April 12th. I went to the spring game.
Yeah.
I've never seen more attention on a guy that just came out and just handed the ball off than I have in my life, and that was DJ Lagway. Because what they did that day, for those that weren't there, because in the infinite wisdom of the NCAA and the networks now, they're not broadcasting the spring games, which is another story. But for those that went, Lagway would go out for the first play, hand the ball off, and then he'd run off the field. And they would bring the other quarterbacks in. And so there's been a lot of concern about that. Billy Napier told us after that spring game that he was pretty confident Lagway was going to start throwing soon, and then that video surfaced yesterday, Instagram and other places. And, yeah, there was never more excitement for a guy throwing a ball to, I guess, open air, as they say, but then there was yesterday with DJ Lagway. And this team, I think, is ready to contend if DJ Lagway, just kind of like with Lawrence and the Jags, same story with the Gators, I think they got finally enough personnel around DJ Lagway to contend. But if he doesn't play, all bets are off. So there's some relief, but I still think there's some nervousness until you actually see him in an actual game next August.
Yeah, no question. And then I've got to ask you about Gator basketball. Certainly, I know they were disappointed to lose Denzel Aberdeen, but it looks like they're on the precipice of potentially adding his replacement. They've been aggressive. And, of course, they're going to be a hot program anyway. And then they've got some guys they're waiting on from the NBA draft process. But it sounds like USC transfer Desmond Claude could potentially replace Aberdeen.
Desmond Claude averaged 15.5 points a game last year for USC, 6'5". He's going to visit later this week. And, yeah, there's a lot of optimism that he is going to be one that comes in, like you just laid out, Drew, to replace Denzel Aberdeen on the roster. They got A.J. Brown last week, by the way, from Ohio, who's Isaiah Brown's brother.
That's right.
And there's a lot of positivity that Alex Condon and Ruben Chinyulu, who's both entered the NBA draft, but they can still come back. They've got till May 28th to make that decision. Todd Golden's out in California with some of those guys right now, and including Will Richard, who can't come back, but Chinyulu and Condon as well. And right now, from projections, well, Chinyulu's not going to be drafted. I'll say that right now. Nothing against him, but he's going to be back. I would be shocked if he's not. Alex Condon right now is not projecting as a first-round pick.
Right.
And I think if he doesn't go first round, part of the reason they didn't keep Denzel Aberdeen is because Kentucky offered $2.5 million in NIL money for him. And Florida is saving NIL money for one Alex Condon because they are projecting they are going to get him back. And I think they are too. And if they get Claude to commit from USC, as you just laid out, Drew, Condon and Chinyulu come back, this is going to be a pretty good team again going into next year. I'm not saying it's going to be as good as this past year, obviously, but I think they're going to be a contender again. And I think Todd Golden's going to keep this thing going. So it's going to be an interesting month, but I think it's going to be more good news for Gator basketball.
Well, I mean, another more great news, and I really don't like the NBA right now, but I would love to see Walter Clayton be a Celtic.
I would like to see Walter Clayton be a Celtic or just be successful in the NBA, specifically after what he did for Florida. I mean, again, arguably the greatest Gator basketball player in the history of the program, and you're talking about a program that won back-to-back national titles with Billy Donovan. I never thought I'd say that, but what Walter Clayton put on his shoulders and the key shots he made in that tournament run where this team was behind time in and time again, and yet he always found a way to make the big shot and, ironically, in the end, make the big defensive stop. So I think there may be a statue of the young man in Gainesville one day. I truly do. We shall see.
He's got to be on the Mount Rushmore of Florida basketball.
No doubt. He's definitely there. You can argue whether he's won on that mountain, but he's on there, no question.
Well, John, great stuff. We always enjoy catching up, and we are excited for the Jags. I mean, I can't wait to see. Now, before you do go, we've got to ask about Travis and drafting him number one with Hunter. Do you think what are their plans? Are they going to play him primarily at corner or wide receiver? Which one's going to be the primary in your mind?
They stated they're going to start out at wide receiver as the primary, but they are going to have a package for him at corner. You know, you mentioned Liam Cohen and being a rookie head coach. His biggest issue might be fighting between his coordinators who gets Travis Hunter more. Which is a unique situation, but because as great as he was at wide receiver, he was just as great at corner. So you got to believe there's going to be some internal fighting in that coaching staff, guys. But offense is what they want him to learn first from what they indicated last Friday, and then gradually integrate him into the defensive side. But I suspect in the red zone and certain plays, you're going to see him at corner next fall too.
Well, sounds good, my man. Let everybody know how to follow you, John. We always appreciate the time.
You can follow me on X/Twitter at JF_Sports Now, and in St. Augustine at 102.1 and 1240 WFOY. And guys, always an honor and a pleasure. And before you know it, we'll all be gathered in Atlanta, Georgia, July 14th. That'll be here before you know it.
Yes, I talked to your good friend Mark McLeod last night. We were talking some football. We talked about that. It'll be here in about 60 days, or really,
it's coming up fast. Very fast.
2.5 months, man.
And I'll close with this. There is a McLeod on the Florida Gator roster and a McLeod on the Jacksonville Jaguar roster.
Oh, wow.
That's how legendary he is, guys. So
yeah, they just drafted Jalen McLeod. Jalen McLeod, good pass rusher.
Absolutely. So it's going to be great, no doubt about it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys.
All right, John Frary with us. Let's get a break in. More Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a no-injury wreck in Decatur, 300 block of Gordon Drive. That's going to be near 3rd Avenue. And we got 6th and Vine now showing is clear. Big Cove and Bassett still may be working. That one came in as a no injury. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
I'm here with Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490.
AL certain number 21014.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. If any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000, 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Well, Scott, your boy. George Kittle.
Yeah, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
The Iowa tight ends, man.
He's gonna get paid, and he's gonna get something else too. I was talking about going to get some donuts.
Well, you missed Steve. He brought us donuts on Friday when you were doing the volleyball.
Did he?
Yeah.
From Duncan?
Yeah, John even tried.
And you know what?
Pebbles, man. No, not Duncan now. We're talking about Bigfoot.
Oh, I haven't had donuts for, I can't remember the last time that I had a donut.
We had, I think.
It's been a while.
John, I think it was, we had cookies and cream, and I think we had the Fruity Pebbles there.
Yeah, and they were wonderful, and I was actually really upset that he just left them in front of me because I could not stop eating them. Go get them on Zone Deals right now.
I haven't had donuts in a while. Because it used to be we could go over to Krispy Kreme. Remember that? Once a week?
Mm-hmm.
Once a week and get a free hot dozen of donuts from Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. I remember.
John, that was before you started here. We could go to Krispy Kreme
this is 2
as a
locations
station.
Ago, as a station.
Yeah, as a station, we could go to Krispy Kreme and get free dozen. We get one free dozen. Was it one or two? One free dozen of donuts a week at Krispy Kreme.
Mm-hmm.
I have no comment on that one.
Yeah.
No comment at all.
It was good, and then drinks started disappearing.
And then Krispy Kreme was like, yeah, we ain't giving that to you anymore.
All right.
Yeah, you're done. But anyway, that was, yeah. Hey, we do got this, though. In case you have, this is where we can use our Major League reference.
Yeah.
In case you've not been paying attention, the Atlanta Braves are threatening to climb out of the cellar.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing better, and then they brought back an old face. I doubt it's the 2021 version, but they brought back Everyday Eddie Rosario, and they sent down Jason Kelenic, who decided he didn't like to run out ground balls. And
hopefully this will work. I'm hoping this will work
what
here.
He thinks are homers into outs at second base.
In case you were not, here we go. Well, there it goes.
Dang it.
Well, it's telling me the damn thing is wanting to connect to one and it's not connecting to the other. So anyway, the Atlanta Braves are taking on the Colorado Rockies.
Our good friend Jordan Beck.
Yeah, but the Colorado Rockies right now, if you've not paid attention, they're awful.
Yeah.
They're horrible.
Jordan had a good week at the plate last week, though.
Do you know how many wins the Rockies have?
I haven't.
Take a guess. Just take a guess on how many wins they have.
Is this White Sox level bad?
Yes.
Oh, no. I mean, last year the White Sox were the worst team probably in Major League history.
The Colorado Rockies are giving it a run.
Oh, how bad is it?
After last night's loss,
the Braves 6-3.
The Colorado Rockies are 4-24.
Hey.
They've scored 92 runs. They scored 3 last night. They've scored 92 runs. If it wouldn't be for the Texas Rangers, who have scored 87, but the Rangers are 15-14, they'd have the fewest runs in baseball. 92 runs. They are 4-24. The Atlanta Braves should beat the Colorado Rockies.
Well, we were down in the dumps when the Braves were 0-7. Remember, I was wondering if, but the Braves are
6-4 in their last 10. They're 13-15, 8-2 in their last 10.
They're inching toward the 500 mark, and they also brought Ian Anderson back, by the way.
Right.
So.
But your Mutts are 20-9.
You had to say that, didn't you?
Well, they're leading the East.
Disgusting.
Hey, okay, so let's turn our attention to SEC baseball, okay? Because we've got hot and cold right now.
We do.
The hot are the Florida Gators. I'm just going to say this. They were 1 and something in
1-8 at one time.
In SEC play. They were not looking very good. And all of a sudden, the SEC Gators, the Florida Gators.
Top 10 team at the start of the season.
Yes, the Florida Gators have they're starting to put it all together. And the Florida Gators now, don't look, but they're 8-13 in conference play right now. So they're starting to make a move.
Right.
The cold Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Hey,
so cold.
Well, this is not Missouri cold. Now, Missouri's really cold. Scott, when you're 0-21 in a conference, that's hard to do. That's even worse than 4-24.
But Mississippi State has said adios to their head coach.
Yeah, this
Chris
is really
Lemonis.
tough.
They've fired him yesterday, effective immediately.
Yeah.
He guided them to their national championship in 21. He leaves Starkville with a 232 and 135 record. They're 25-19 right now, 7-14 in SEC play. But they're on track to miss the NCAA tournament for the third time in 4 seasons.
Right.
So Mississippi State has said adios to Chris Lemonis.
Yeah, because he won it in 21, returned to Omaha in 22, and then you, as you said, had 2 straight years of basically 9-21 records in the SEC. Did not make the SEC tournament when they were taking 12 teams, and then last year returned to the NCAA tournament. Made a good run in the Charlottesville regional, but didn't get it done. And then this year, as you said, trending toward not making postseason play, even though everybody will be in the SEC tournament. But Chris Lemonis, after a really good run in Starkville, it looks like it's coming to an end.
All right. Well, Steve Robertson knows a lot about this because he was one of the first guys to report it, that Chris Lemonis was out at Mississippi State. He'll join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline after this break.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures consistently climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, just about or just above where we should be this time of year. Maybe an isolated shower develops through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening, but that activity is going to be somewhat difficult to come by. Staying warm as we head into the overnight, temperatures only dropping into the low and mid 60s. Much the same as we head into your Wednesday, a partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky. Temperatures consistently climbing into the low and mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The sound of the organ, the crack of the bat.
It is dawn.
The sight of watching the ball go over the wall, and the taste of peanuts and Cracker Jacks. There's nothing like it.
Play ball!
It's America's pastime. From the first pitch to the final out, you can hear every game right here on your home for Alabama baseball.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. we show up.
Never miss 1 second of Charger baseball with the Charger Zone.
And he is just absolutely parked wide. I don't believe the left fielder or the center fielder for AUM even move.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
8:36 on a Tuesday morning, talking ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the program. As we were going to break, we were setting the stage for our next conversation. That was SEC baseball, Mississippi State moving on from Chris Lemonis. And, we're going to bring in the guy that helped bring the news to the forefront.
Nobody is more well-versed in the maroon and white than our next guest, and he's one of the most accomplished authors in the United States now. I know his latest book, The Dude, which is the Chronicles of Dudy Noble, who is named. That's who they're one of the best facilities in college baseball is named after. That book has done incredibly well. All of his works have done amazingly well. He also has the daily podcast called The Boneyard, which is must listen. I had a chance to, see him in Tuscaloosa because this is a guy that's got boots on the ground. He is at every series, home and away, for Mississippi State baseball. So if somebody was going to break the news that Chris Lemonis was not going to return in Starkville, it was going to be Steve Robertson of genespage.com. And he's been kind enough to join us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Steve, you're with Drew and Scott in Huntsville. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing good. I mean, it's you mentioned the book. I mean, one of the reasons that I haven't announced a new book for 2025 is because I needed to be sure that I wasn't going to have to cover a coaching search. And, it's like it takes so much of my time. My wife told me yesterday when I called and told her that Lemonis had been let go, she said, okay, I guess I'll speak in about 6 weeks. That's kind of how it works, because you spend so much time, working industry sources. And I'm still going to have something out for Mississippi State fans for the holidays, but it won't be a book per se. But we have been prepared for this possibility for some time. And listen, no matter what anybody thinks or how you feel, I fired over 100 people in my career, and I've never walked into that room and walked out feeling good, right? I mean, even when you have to let somebody go, even under the worst of circumstances, that person's got to go home and tell their family. And it's a little different for coaches. I mean, they get, Chris Lemonis still has a year left on his contract, so he's not going to miss any meals or anything like that. But it's a dark day when you think you fire the only coach to win an Apple championship in school history. But it was warranted, and I support the decision and wish Zach Spellman the best in this search.
Mm-hmm. Where did it all go wrong for Chris Lemonis?
Yeah.
That's a great question. And I don't know that I can pinpoint exactly one thing. I think there was just kind of a cascading effect in many respects. I think after the 2021 national championship year, there were some players here, and with all due respect, but they weren't good enough to play here. Right. And so rather than kind of purge those guys off the roster, and Lem and I talked about it. He goes, I just didn't want to be that guy. We just all won an Apple championship together. And I didn't want to be known as that guy that won an Apple championship and then you ran this kid off. Right. And so I think they felt like, hey, we've got enough juice on this roster that we can let some guys kind of ride the wave with us. Well, then, Landon Sims gets hurt. And then Stone Simmons. Both of those guys are lost in the same weekend at Tulane before SEC play. And then you lose Brooks Auger, who eventually was obviously a big draft pick last year for the Dodgers. And so injuries and I think some roster management in 22 kind of put things in motion. And then I think he was a little bit reluctant to get into the portal maybe as aggressively as he should have been in 23. I think he kind of saw this program a lot like Arkansas, that we want to build from our own high school recruitment. We'll have guys around for 2 or 3 years, and we'll use the portal to kind of supplement, maybe when we have a recruiting miss. But and then he kind of had to change his line of thinking, going into the 24 season. And I think it mattered. I think that made a difference. That last year you won 40 games, but you still left some meat on the bone. And even though that was a good year by Mississippi State standards, it wasn't a great year. And so I think when you had to kind of rebuild the roster this year, with a second-year pitching coach, and then the transfer portal wasn't nearly as deep as you expected to be on the pitching side, all of those things, I think, had an impact. So it wasn't just like one thing. I think there was just kind of a series of decisions and perhaps some circumstances that just kind of worked together in concert to bring us to this point.
And then Zach Selman makes the move, and right now, and could be that throughout the entire cycle that Mississippi State is the most high-profile job to open up, depending on some other potential changes. But it's still a top 10 job in the country. It's so well supported. Now it's a little harder to hire coaches, I guess, because so many programs in the SEC and throughout college baseball, especially in the Southeastern Conference, though, are committing financially to it, but still such an attractive job in Starkville, Steve.
Well, it is. And, we're awfully proud of it. And that's what leads to days like yesterday. This is a job with expectations. And I wrote about that yesterday. I mean, there are some people out there, no matter how well-intended they may be, they would wither under the weight of the expectations of this program.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi State didn't start playing baseball in 1985. They started in 1885 and were undefeated the first 3 seasons, and so it's like from the genesis of this program, there has been an expectation for greatness, and the fans here are simply not going to put up with bad baseball. And you win the national title in 21, they give you a little grace for 22. I mean, in 23, it was absolutely crazy. People calling for Lamonis to be fired. And, Zach Selman was the new AD that year. And, simply put, Selman wasn't going to make his first order of business firing the only coach that's ever won a national championship at Mississippi State. And so while they always talk about, what has to be done eventually should be done today, I think they kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit. And then last year you kind of had a return to somewhat of Mississippi State form. But, if you come in here and you have a bad year, you better win big the next year. It's very heavy. Lamonis and I have talked about that before. He goes, man, it's so great to win here, but it's so heavy when you lose. Because everybody here is living and dying on every pitch. This isn't just a social event when you come to Duty Noble Field. It's not you're not just there to get some sausage and a cold one. You're there to watch baseball performed at the highest level, and we expect to be able to beat anybody. And when you can't say that with bass in your voice, it is not a good experience for the Mississippi State fan. They have got to feel like there's confidence in this program, because let's be honest about it. When State's had some lean years in football and basketball, baseball has always been there for Mississippi State, and in recent years it hasn't been. And this is why we're having this conversation.
Well, you mentioned the pressure of Mississippi State, the expectations that come with coaching Mississippi State baseball. But it is Mississippi State baseball, so it should attract this opening should attract some big names, I would imagine, to be the next head coach.
Oh, absolutely. And we're already starting to hear some things privately. We're going to respect those coaches and their representatives and their teams. And, we're already hearing some things, because it is, again, you have the greatest cathedral in the history of college baseball to play your games. You have better facilities at Mississippi State than you have in the minor league.
Yeah.
And you have better attendance. And, for coaches out there that want to go to a place where baseball truly matters, this is going to be a very attractive destination. And not just because of the financial commitment or perhaps the pay raise, but you can come here and win national championships. And so I think that aspect of it is very important to understand, that there are some coaches out there that are very successful that may be the number 3 sport, and in some cases, like maybe even at South Carolina, the number 4 sport within their organization. And there are some coaches that want to go to a place where baseball truly matters, and that they'll get resources that that exceed that of their peers. And you're going to get that at Mississippi State. And so, but I'll tell you one of the things, and I wrote about this yesterday too. If there's a coach out there that gets a little squeamish, it's like, hey, we expect to win multiple national championships when you're here. And if they just for 1 second think, well, I don't know, then that's not the guy. Mississippi State needs a true leader that is going to embrace expectations and elevate this program and take it to where it rightfully belongs.
Well, and I think that's Lamonis. That's his legacy, and it'll as you wrote yesterday, it's never going to be taken away from him. He did take this program to the pinnacle of college baseball. Followed it up with another great year. Then they had 2 lean years before, as you said, somewhat of a bounce back year. A season ago. I'm sure he's going to resurface in college baseball, but is it now a young man's game with the transfer portal and NIL, or can you still go hire a veteran experience to head coach in your mind? I mean, you follow college baseball as closely as anyone in the landscape.
Well, number one, Chris and I are the same age, so I'm still going to call him a young guy. But I think you have to have the infrastructure around you. Like I don't need my head coach negotiating NIL deals.
Right.
And Lamonis didn't have that either. There's somebody else who takes care of that. But I think to win in this league, I don't know that the young first-time coach is going to be successful because of the experience around them. I mean, like you think about this, like Tony Vitello is the exception rather than the rule. But Tony's no spring chicken either. I mean, and I like Tony a lot. I've had multiple conversations with him, and he is not the same guy off the field that he is on. When he's on that field, he'll slit your throat for a game of Chinese checkers, but I talked to him at Hooper last year, and he goes, "Steve, will you do me a favor?" I said, "Coach, what do you need?" He said, "Will you please tell Mississippi State fans that I don't want to have a hockey fight every time we get together?" He's a great guy. I really like him a lot. But yeah, back to your point there. You've got to have a coach that knows how to run the show. And this is a machine up here. It's like, and I was on a radio hit earlier this morning. I do my best to interview every opposing coach ahead of a series or a midweek game for Mississippi State. Some of those guys are so happy to talk because they don't have any media coverage.
That's true.
And so all of a sudden you leave an environment like that and you come here where the media inquiries are intense. You got to do hits with the SEC network. And now all of a sudden you still got to make time to go meet with your players and coach your team. So the demands of the job itself are very difficult. So I think you need to go get ideally a sitting head coach, somebody that already knows how to run the show, even though this circus can be a little more demanding. But I think bringing somebody in that basically all they've ever had to do is look at spray charts and talk to hitters about scouting reports, and then expecting them to step into this throne and be able to do a good job initially, I think you're asking too much.
And I can see that. It is a pressure cooker. It's not for everyone, but if you find the right guy, just like Tennessee found Tony Vitello, that program was rudderless for so long, and now they're at the top of college baseball, but they don't have the history and the infrastructure, or at least they long term, that Mississippi State has had. And so if you find the perfect fit, though, we know what could end up happening.
Well, and that's what makes this hire so important for Zach Selman, right? And football, you got to take care of football because football takes care of everything else, right? And that's just how things work in college athletics. But I would say this may be the most important hire outside of that, of the Selman tenure. I mean, he's only had to make one hire so far, and of course that was Jeff Levy, and a difficult year last year due to some injuries and a lack of talent. So we'll see what it looks like this year, but it's probably not going to be a bang-up year. Maybe you can get 6 and get into a bowl game. And so when you start thinking about legacies and think about resume building, Selman has to nail this hire. And that's why I don't think you can just go out and get the up-and-coming, G5 guy and just call the box check and just kind of move on. Because you mess up baseball at Mississippi State, you're going to answer for it. And it's going to follow you forever. And there's so many things at Mississippi State that people are willing to put up with, but bad baseball is just not one of them. And if he tanks this hire, I can tell you that there will be calls for his job. That's how important it is. It's not like somewhere else. You go hire the baseball coach at, Middle Tennessee State or something, and they don't win. Nobody's emailing the administration taken to the streets. But you make a bad hire at Mississippi State, there's blood in the streets.
Well, and do you think that he made this move so early? Because I know some people were surprised. They thought it might wait till the end of the season, but did he make it early so he could get the pieces in place and start the process to make this hire and get the right guy?
I'm going to give you my honest opinion on that.
Okay.
And this is not based on any source data. This is just my opinion. I want to qualify that before we say it, because somebody will clip it and misconstrue it, right? I think we just reached the point where people were tired of the roller coaster, right? It's like when you go back and look at the totality of the last 4 seasons, it's been up and down. There's been, a bad midweek loss. Last year you had 4 quad 4 losses and it cost you a hosting opportunity, And then this year, you've lost some games just kind of inexplicably, like you're inventing ways to lose. And I think that is just taking such an emotional toll on the fan base. I think there was probably, and again, my opinion, what if he makes a regional? Right?
Right.
Because you look at the schedule, you got 11 games left. 8 of them are at home. The 3 on the road are against Missouri, who's 0-21 in the league. And so let's say you throw those 3 wins on top of the 7 you already have. Well, you win one of these series and avoid getting swept. You got 13, 14 SEC wins headed to Hoover. You win a game or 2 there. You're going to be in a regional somewhere. And I think it would have been more difficult to fire him had he done that. And I think this is kind of a preemptive move. It's like, hey, we know we want to make change. We don't like the direction of the program. And so let's make it now. I don't think it has anything to do with, just kind of getting the word out, because they were already kind of doing some due diligence with agents and kind of saying, hey, if we make a change, that kind of stuff. So I think it's really one of those scenarios. And again, just simply my opinion, I think they didn't want to have a scenario where this team, number one, had, poor attendance these last 2 weekends at home. And then in the event that Lamonis and those guys got hot, then there's this obligation to kind of keep them over. I think now you don't have fans hate watching this team. Now that they know there's going to be change, I suspect the crowd this next 2 weekend at Dudy Noble will be tremendous.
Wow.
And they'll be out there to pull for these kids and pull for wins.
Well, there you go. And
Crazy.
So certainly Alabama did that with Jason Jackson when they had to make a unexpected change with Brad Bohannon, and they rode it to a super regional. And so we'll see how Mississippi State responds. Well, there's no one better, more well-versed than Steve Robertson to follow this coaching search in the new era of Mississippi State baseball. Steve, you're always so generous with your time. Thank you. Let everybody know how to follow you, sir.
Yeah, obviously we're genespage.com. We are the Mississippi State website. And you can find us on the 247 Sports Network, and I can be found on all forms of social media at Scout Steve R. Anybody interested in purchasing any of my sports books can do so at dutynoblebooks.com.
Thank you, sir.
See you guys. Take care.
All right, thanks. All right, let's get that final break in. Oh, yeah, really good stuff. Let's get a timeout. Tomorrow's headlines next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of wrecks it may still be trying to clear. Had 300 block of Gordon Drive, that's near 3rd Avenue in Decatur. Had Big Cove and Bassett. Both of those may be with us for a few more minutes. Everything else from earlier should be out of the way. With more than 30 years experience, D&L Refrigeration can save you money on those heating and air conditioning repairs. 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com.
It's
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
LeBron going to get pumped again.
I told you during the break, a couple breaks ago, that this year's NBA playoffs, I know you have a disdain towards some of the NBA play.
The highlights are delicious, I've been saying.
But I'm saying right now, the referees, it's not gone completely mid-90s, early 90s physicality, but they're bringing back a lot of the defense. It's not a lot of this old ABS. We're seeing some of that, but it's a lot of physicality on the defensive side of the basketball. The referees are saying, okay, you want to play a little defense. Right. And, if you want to be aggressive, be aggressive. We're going to let you be aggressive.
Anthony Edwards, sir, is being aggressive.
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
That there's not going to be a lot of Miami Heat out there.
You know what? UAH assistant coach Josh Henschel.
Yeah.
He's been bugging me to have him come in so that he can say, hey, look, guys, let's talk some NBA playoffs.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Been bugging me. So he may end up coming in at some point. We got time.
I might take some vacation.
You could do it for a few minutes. Oh, that's going to do it for our 2 hours of fun.
As soon as the Lakers are eliminated.
But by LeBron. He eliminated last night. They gone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure